Hey, hey, hey! It's Around the Blockchain! What's going on? We were in Miami last week. Got to actually see Carlos Mata talk, so that was my Carlos-inspirated introduction to Around the Blockchain. How y'all doing? Welcome to Around the Blockchain here on BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, which is the absolute best crypto community in the entire universe. My name is Jay Chains. Every Monday through Friday, we come to you at 5 p.m. We're a little late today, but that's all right because it's going to be a good show. Got some great guests for you. If it is your first time tuning into Around the Blockchain, you will notice that everybody's got a little score down in the bottom corner of their little box. If you like what they're saying and you're in the chat, throw up a +1. We'll give them some points. Whoever's got the most points at the end of the show can leave us with some parting words. Speaking of the show, who we got? We got some great guests. Back from the living, it is Crypto Jebb. Glad to see you're back and feeling better, my man.
Glad to be back.
Excellent, excellent.
Next, my Darth Vader impression.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, we got Wendy. It was good to see you last week in Miami. I will start to call you Auntie Wendo now. My daughter loved you. She thought you were very nice and special. Hashoshi's in the crowd. Oh, go ahead, Wendy. What were you going to say? I wanted to hold her and just run and just so cute. Well, I'm glad that you didn't hold her and run. That would have made it awkward. I'm just kidding. We got Hashoshi in the house, and then Jayson Casper wearing a hat. I've been told this is is that like a Lord of the Rings thing? What is that?
It's a Charizard. I don't know if you ever heard of that from Super Mario. From Super Mario.
Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog. Is that what that means?
It's Star Trek. You wouldn't get it.
Yes.
Yeah, Justin told us that he is actually the least nerdy person in human history before the show started, so he wouldn't get it. He wouldn't get it.
I've made a career out of not being a nerd, and I am not going to start today. I promise you that. All right. We got a great show for you today. What are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about, for the lightning round, Craig Wright. Who's bailing him out in this crowd? Let's see. We also got some leverage. God, I think that this was written to troll me, but some leverage orders were obliterated last week, and then we'll wrap it up with the Fear and Greed Index. It's going to be a great show. Make sure that you pop down into the description, follow, and like everything that these folks do, because they work hard every single day, Monday through Friday, and even on the weekends. When you guys are relaxing, they're working, bringing you content. So make sure that you like what they're doing, because they are here to work for you. All right, so we got a great show. Before we get into it, let's check some market cap, market watch, market cap, whatever. The global crypto market cap coming in at 2.35 trillion. That is up almost 3%. We like to see up. Green is good after what we saw last week. Let me get a quick refresh, because if I'm not mistaken, Bitcoin's above 50K right now, and that's a beautiful thing. A very beautiful thing. Up 2% on the day. ETH coming in at 43.46, up almost 5%. Gotta like to see that. BNB 588, and then Solana almost getting closer to $200. Let's look at some winners on the day. We got BitTorrent. Haven't heard that name in a while, coming in at 25%. I will not name that one. That is their second. Let's just get that off the screen. Okay. Make sure that you guys like this video. I'm showing 315 likes with 2,000 viewers. That's a low percentage. I'm not good at math because I'm not a nerd, so let's just get that higher up there. All right. You guys ready to get started?
You're living in denial, Justin. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what, man. Don't you?
But he's not in Egypt.
You're on cryptocurrency YouTube. You can't make the argument that you're not a nerd, dude. That's an oxymoron. What are you doing hosting a crypto show? Come on now.
Sir, it is called Alternative Currency YouTube. Alternative currency, okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Wendy.
Okay. All right,
Wendy's got my back. Thank you. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this episode. All right, I want to know, and I'm going to start the way that I see it is Jebb, Wendy, Hashoshi, and then Casper. So we will go in that order for the lightning round. Jebb, starting with you. Are you bailing out Craig Wright? Now, really, I guess we got to give a quick little update on this. Craig Wright was ordered to pay the Kleeman estate $100 million in that lawsuit here in the United States. Thank goodness. That son of a snake is not Satoshi, and we know it. Jebb, what are you doing? Are you bailing him out?
Yeah. No, I think his mama's going to have to bail him out, because the funny thing is, the hilarious thing is, Craig Wright's lawyers are acting like this is a victory, because they're acting like, oh, this proves that Craig Wright is actually Satoshi Nakamoto. That's not the point of the case. The point of the case is you're a punk and you owe him $100 million. They're trying to get out of this as if it's some great thing. He has to pay $100 million. I have no idea who he's going to pay out. I mean, maybe he has $100 million to pay him. I don't know.
Well, we know that he doesn't have access to the Genesis wallet because he's had
he doesn't.
Many opportunities to do so.
He's a fraud.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's an extra point for you, Jebb. Great job.
Thank you.
Hit some buzzwords. All right, Wendo, are you bailing him out of jail?
Unfortunately, I will not be bailing Craig Wright out of jail. He has caused so many issues in the space. However, I am friends with his sister, so that's all I will say.
Wait,
yeah,
really?
I think you've met her too.
At a conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. All right, another point for you, Wendy, for putting.
I will send a fruit basket. This is a giant grapefruit, you guys. It's literally like almost the size of my head.
Maybe you can get $50 for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make grapefruit juice for the. If you're in the chat right now, BitSquad. If you guys like grapefruit, if you want me to make some grapefruit juice, smash the like.
Yeah.
Love it.
Smash a like. I'm looking at this. I'm watching the likes go through the roofs. Yeah, not for any other reason. Not for any other reason than for grapefruits. Make sure that you smash that like. All right, Hashoshi, are you bailing him out?
Not a chance. I mean, here's the thing. If this is being pitched as a victory because the only thing that he's paying, a mere sum of 100 million. Okay, that's not a small amount, but it's a lot smaller than what the ask was originally. So yeah, you could say, yeah, I wish that were pocket change for me. But here's the deal. If you want to put this to bed right now, right? And I have no interest in getting sued, but if you want to put this to bed right now and prove you're Satoshi, move coins from Genesis wallets. It's that simple. If you need to do it to pay the 100 million, do it. Prove us all wrong. But I just don't think that's the case.
I agree with you, man. It is literally that easy at this particular moment. You've been building the last several years on that foundation that we know is unbelievably alive.
And the other thing is, he's probably made over $100 million just from the name and the clout that he has, because he's been going around claiming that he's the founder of a $1 trillion asset class. He's making a bunch of money. He's doing speaking engagements. He's got all kinds of business deals because of this. He's probably made over $100 million from this. So for him, it might just be a cost of doing business. Like Hashoshi said, move some coin and prove it.
Move it. Move that coin, Craig. We're calling you out. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not calling anybody out. Casper.
I'm calling him out.
Jayson.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to disagree with everybody and say that, yeah, I'll bail him out. And the reason is because, not many people know this. And I was talking to my wife, Big Butts 28. Shout out to Big Butts 28, my wife. But she said I could say this. I'm actually the real Satoshi. And to me, 100 million, that's nothing. I told the guy. Well, so am I, okay? Whoa. Don't assume the gender.
I identify as one giant
Wendy.
grapefruit.
Wendy, it is 2021, okay? We know this by now.
It's the 90s.
I'm
going to pay him 100 million just to quit pretending like he's me, honestly. I'll bail him out.
Great job, sir. I like that. All right. Let's get into the real reason we're here, to talk about some important crypto topics. Again, I feel like I'm being trolled with this, but we're going to go with it anyway. So leverage orders liquidated. Some massive whale movements in the previous weeks have been signaling a large movement. Bitcoin dropped over 25% on the early hours of Sunday. I actually did a middle of the night for me. It was from 1 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning stream with my business partner, Brian, for New Money Gang. We were up watching this happen, watching all of our money go away. We were in the middle of a race to 100K, and now it is the no money challenge because we're both broke. According to Glassnode, over 5.4 billion in open orders were closed out that night. That's insane. And total futures declined from 22 billion to 16.6 in one day. Let's see. Wendy, ladies first.
Wow.
Are these liquidations mainly institutions, or is this retail? Who really got wrecked here?
I feel like it's a combination of both to an extent, because we really, as far as I know, we really cannot track what people in other countries are doing. We have very strict laws and regulations in the United States that we're not supposed to be using margin trading platforms. But I kind of feel like it is a mixture of both. And I know that liquidation had to have hurt. I have been liquidated before. It does not feel good. Liquidated multiple times. You never kind of recover for that. It always stays with you. But I feel like this particular liquidation, like a lot of people were calling 48,000. I was calling 48,000, and we hit that target. We actually ended up exceeding it, and it was like so brutal, because generally, like with your stops, like you'll place your stops like a couple thing laddered down below the additional stop, but or where you think that support is going to be. but we surpassed that, and it was surpassed so hard. So literally everybody and their mom got liquidated. Combination of both.
Okay, absolutely. I don't know about you guys. I got I set a personal record. I had 5 liquidation notices on Saturday. 5. That was a record.
Ow.
Previously was 3. Set the new one at 5. So we got a lot to
I think you
learn.
need more fiber in your diet then.
More fiber. You got that right. All right, Jebb, next one's coming to you. Are you okay with whale wars like this, or do you prefer Dirty Gary regulation to calm down with the Bitcoin?
You know, I think the Wild West of crypto is dying, and I think that might be a good thing. But the thing is, we got to realize that as regulation comes in, it's not going to be something that is going to be exactly what we want. There is going to be a lot of regulation that comes into the space that is not necessarily going to be things that we are very excited about, but it is potentially going to lead to a lot more stability. And I think that's what we need to be looking for in crypto, not only in our own trading is stability, but also in the ecosystem with stability. So number one, in our own trading, what we can do and to avoid getting liquidated is we can make sure that we're always setting stop losses, and we can make sure that we are not getting over leveraged. That's one thing that I've done. I'm obviously right there with you guys. I've been liquidated before. It hurts. It stings. The best thing you can do against that is getting a proper stop loss in place. And as far as the stability of the broader cryptocurrency markets are concerned, I think that there's a lot that we can learn from the traditional markets. We can kind of eat the meat and spit out the bones of the traditional financial markets. Now, most of it's bones, but there is some meat there. And some of the meats there is you want a market that's stable. You don't want a market that has a ton of volatility, and you don't want a market that is prone to these massive flash crashes like what we've seen. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want coins to go up 1,000%, because we are in basically the startup phase of an entire sector of the economy. But at the same time, we do want to make sure that we're moving in a direction where the market is able to be more stable than what we've seen happen over the last couple of months with Bitcoin, as we always do with these long squeezes. The best thing you can do, like I said, is make sure you're setting your stop losses appropriately.
It's not that I have a bone to pick with you on that, Jebb. I do understand the stop losses, and everyone always says that. But for me personally, when you leverage trade, like, you're there to make money. Like, this isn't, I'm in it for the tech kind of thing. You're there to make money. For me, anytime I put in a stop loss, it wicks down, catches it, and it's like a guaranteed I'm going to lose 5%. So I say, screw that. I'm just going to let this thing ride. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I know.
Why don't you just set it? Why don't you just set it a couple points like below, like the area? It's like 1 or 2%, or maybe even 3% at your support.
Well, because
exactly.
Or if you're shorting your resistance.
I know, but it always goes lower than you think it's going to, and so to me, I know that I'm going to get wicked out every time I set a stop loss. So I just don't do
Justin, there's two different ways to make money in Vegas, right? You can either get really good at poker, or you can count cards. If you're counting cards, then you are. You're playing the odds. You're going to win 51% of games, but you're going to lose 49% of them. That's what you're trying to do with trading. If you're going to make 10,000 trades, you're not trying to hope that you roll all sevens. You're playing the statistical game. And yes, you are going to get stopped out of some trades. And yes, there are wicks that are going to hit your stops, but statistically speaking, over the course of the long run, you're going to lose a lot less money, and you're going to be set up to succeed a lot more, because you're using an algorithmic approach, a logical approach to the market, rather than shotgunning it and hoping you get lucky.
Well,
Jebb plus 10.
Yeah, that was good. I do appreciate that. I do consider myself a no risk, no reward kind of guy, but I will take. Actually, I think I'm going to quit leverage trading for a little while. Just a little while. Just a little while. Just a little while.
It's all about strategy. Just make sure, guys, when you're trading, you have a strategy and you stick to it. You don't want to just go into it blind, not knowing what you're doing.
Absolutely. No,
risk management too. Risk management.
Yeah.
You got to use risk management. I mean, a lot of times I'll take a trade. I don't even use a stop loss at all, because I don't want to get wicked out. But if you're not risking more than 1 to 3% of your capital that you have in your account, you could crank up that leverage pretty high. I've used 50x, 70x.
Yeah.
I won't get liquidated. If you are, like Jebb said, if you have a strategy, your confirmations are there, then you don't have to worry about getting wicked out. And if you lose, you're not losing too much, And if you win, it's a very high risk to reward ratio.
Yep. I think it's a great point to always be trading with a small percentage of your portfolio anyway. I think that's one of the mistakes people make, is that they trade with 100% of your portfolio. I think if you're trading, you should be trading with like no more than 5% of your portfolio at once. Like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then use leverage
to make
leverage, up the rest.
That's
right. Leverage is a tool. Leverage is a tool, so you can risk a very little amount of money and make a lot of money. It's not meant for just putting, 100%
It's
of
not
your
messy. You make a
account.
$10 million trade with $100,000. That's not the point of leverage. The point of leverage is to not have to put up your entire account and put it all at risk, but you can still trade with the same power. So that's a great point, Casper.
Great point. I like what
Yeah.
you guys are
One
saying.
thing I have to say. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I have to.
Yes,
One
and
thing
then
I
we're
will
gonna
have to
Wendy,
say-
and then we're gonna give Hashoshi some time to speak. Okay.
I know. I'm so sorry, Hashoshi. Okay, so one of the things I do is like, let's say I sometimes I'll just get like $1,000 or $200 or $500 or $5,000. It kind of depends how I'm doing that week. But if I have extra income that I'm like, you know, what should I do? I just go ahead and I margin trade with it. Why not use leverage?
That's it.
So I have a set
See?
amount, and once I lose, just like if you go to the casino, once I lose that, I'm just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Oh, so you
House
don't
money.
take your ATM card to the casino, and once you're out, you go back.
No.
Okay, good. All right,
That's
Hashoshi.
called an addiction.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. The first step to having a problem is admitting that you have a problem. So thank you. All right, Hashoshi. Let me ask you a question. Now, this is about ETH. How do you think ETH has been able to withstand all of this downward pressure? I mean, we saw it hit, I think, like 38, but it bounced right back to about 4,000 and really didn't move a whole lot. How was it able to do that?
I think you have a lot of psychological elements to this, right? You have both economic and psychological elements. First of all, I think there's a lot of excitement still around ETH2, even though there's a lot of people who are pissed off and think, oh, it's never coming, delay. The reality is it was always gonna take this long, to be quite fair with you. I think there's a lot of excitement there, and there's also a lot going on in the Ethereum space. You have excitement around ZK rollups, which are a boon for scaling. We know this. It's very exciting. Before that, you had layer 2s with optimistic rollups. You have all sorts of cool stuff there. And beyond that, you have NFTs propping it up. You've still got DeFi propping it up. And quite frankly, Ethereum is still the gateway for most people who get into crypto, even if they jump on and realize the fees are so prohibitive they can't do anything. People still kind of start there as they research and learn about this space, and then they move to the Phantoms, the Avalanches, the other places in this space. And I do want to point one thing out really quickly on the leverage thing. I'm not the interjecting type of guy, to be honest, but I'll take my opportunity here. What I was going to say is that I agree leverage is a tool, but I think too many beginner people, they get into crypto and they have dreams of Lambo, dreams of new house, dreams of riches and glory, and they get into leverage right away. That is the dumbest move that you can make. It's a tool, but you have to learn how to use hand tools before you use power tools, because you get hurt really fast. And so everyone's like, oh, Hashoshi, the fundamentals guy, doesn't use leverage. The reality is it's like a tool that I seldom use, and risk management and all these other strategies you got to build up before you touch it.
Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic
great.
bit of advice. It's not for everybody. It's a risk management issue, and I applaud you for coming out and saying that. And I mean, because people need to hear that it's not for everybody. So that's a good
Because
thing.
if you don't use leverage, the only thing that gets liquidated is Wendy's massive grapefruit. Simple as that.
A point for you, and a point for the grapefruit. All right, Jayson.
There you go.
Jayson, let me ask you a question.
It's
Do
like a
you
giant
think?
cabbage.
Well, you thought it was an onion before we went on air.
I thought it was a giant cabbage that was painted like an onion.
Can you imagine the smell in my office if it was an onion? Oh my God. And by the way, my sister, she's like vegan, whatever. She will eat an onion like an apple.
If Ben saw that, that would make Ben vomit. Sorry if you're watching. Ben hates onions. Jayson,
Me too.
do you think it's time to take profits and just kind of wait this consolidation period out?
Well, I think if you haven't taken profits, you're kind of late to the party. Not to offend anybody, but we went up to almost 70K twice, and we saw those bearish divergences playing out. So, I mean, it depends. Like, obviously, if you were leverage trading, you're probably liquidated. If you're just hodling, I would just hodl onto it, I mean, that's what I would do right now. I mean, I've been short for a while, but, just to touch back on the leverage thing real quick, I actually think for beginners, leverage can be very advantageous if you know how to trade. Like, nobody should ever just approach trading as just jumping right into it. It's like any other job or career. If you're going to become a brain surgeon, you wouldn't just cut someone's head open without knowing what you were doing. But if you learn the skill of trading, if you learn technical analysis, and you have some basic strategies, I think leverage really can help a beginner, because if you don't have that much capital, right? If you don't have hundreds of thousands to just start trading with, I mean, you're not really going to be able to make anything if you're just spot trading without leverage. But if you can learn how to do it in a way that's not going to wreck you, not going to blow your account. I mean, I've seen people take very small accounts in a responsible way and grow them over time, you know? I think it's a great tool for beginners as well.
I like it.
But yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, as far as holding your Bitcoin goes, I mean, you can never go wrong holding Bitcoin. Everyone who's ever bought the top and forgot to take profits is in profit, has been in profit. Now, I don't know, but you know.
Yeah, you might have bought it 69 and you're kind of wondering what's going to happen here, but just keep holding tight. It will go back up.
It went to 69.
It'll get there eventually.
It's Elon Musk confirmed. He is definitely working in the market and manipulating it, obviously.
I think
it's the president of El Salvador.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they keep talking about
meme lord.
Yeah, he's pretty vicious with buying the dip. Wendy, like now, all right, so when we're talking about, you know, all this trading and support, and I know that you do a lot of TA and stuff, what is the last support firewall that we should be looking at before we do say, all right, guys, abort this mission. It's time to get out. We are confirmed in a bear market. I'm not, for the record, I'm not saying that we are. What's the last ditch number that you think would put us there?
I would probably say 30K, and I know a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy, but you guys have to remember when we had that really bearish period. I think it was like a 99-day period where we were like consolidating above like $40,000 or $50,000. We kissed 65, and then I want to say end of May we dumped. And then we eventually got all the way down to 30K. Like everybody thought, okay, bear market. I didn't necessarily think we were in a bear market, but I was just watching levels. I think if we break below that support, if we are not able to sustain, consolidate back above it and go up, then I would call a bear market. And also too, I want to add, most people are not able to call a bull or bear market until we are actually in it. Some people like Ben, of course, can call the tops and bottoms perfectly, but the rest of us, we just don't know.
We just don't know. That's a very good point.
We don't have a guy like him. I don't have a guy.
We don't have a guy. We don't.
We don't have a guy.
Well, I could be your guy. If you want me to be your guy, you could just say, hey, Ruthless, got a question. I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'm your guy, man. I got you.
Aren't you married?
Jebb, stop it. Of course I am.
It is 2021, and there's
it's 2021, you know?
Three awesome gentlemen on this panel. So, I mean, why not?
Well,
right.
Wendy.
Love is love. Right?
I can hear you.
Well, there's four men on the channel, so one of us is the odd man out. I don't know which one it is, but
okay.
Just saying.
All right. Anyway, all right. Let's move on to our our second topic of the day. Before we do that, I'm showing 1,059 likes with 5,900 people watching. Get that up. Remember, these guys and lady are working hard for you. Oh, the man is playing the saxophone. Now I know there's music that goes along with that, but I cannot hear it for some reason. Perfect.
I have to say this. I don't know if you guys covered this earlier on the show, but I want to say Cardano holders have surpassed or hit 1 million. So if you're a Cardano fan, make sure you smash that like.
Yeah, smash the like for Cardano. If you and Charles Hosky are buds, hit that like.
And Pancake Swap testnet. Woo.
Oh, that's news. Is it live?
Yep, as of last night.
All right, there we go. That could have been one of our topics, but we chose to talk about fear and greed index today. So this was made up by the CNN Money to measure investor sentiment. It measures 7 different metrics, including price, momentum, and the amount of puts and calls. Last month, the index was at 71, which is greed, and now it's at 16, which is extreme fear. I think that's a pretty good thing. I will let you guys tell me more. Let's see, Casper, I'm going to start with you on this one. Do you think that the fear and greed index, do you use it? Do you think it's useful?
You know, I don't really use it when it comes to entering a trade, but I definitely use it to gauge the overall sentiment of the market and how people are feeling. And when I see extreme fear in the market, I tend to get very bullish, honestly, because, you know, when people are not so eager to over leverage their positions and stuff like that, then and they want to sit lines because they think we're going lower, that's usually when we start to pump. And, you know, we have come down to some very important supports around those areas. You know, I definitely think this is a good thing, man. I think it's a good thing.
I would absolutely agree with you. I think that most of us who have been in the space for a while know that when we get to the fear part, that's when you can expect some pretty good days. All right, Hashoshi, what are some other factors that investors should consider besides the fear and greed index?
I mean, I think you can look at just individual communities, like sentiment analysis. Like there's some cool tools out there, Sentiment and Trade the Chain, looking at the on social media sentiment towards specific coins and specific communities. I think that's also really helpful during these periods. You can look at sort of the macro market with the, fear and greed index and kind of get a feel for how everything is right now market wide, and then look very specifically at individual coins that are on your short list. Say there's an altcoin you've been looking at for a while, it's too high, you didn't want to buy in, you've been waiting around for the right time when it's kind of a graveyard in terms of sentiment online. I think that's a good time to start thinking about, or at least looking into potential entry points. Of course, there are other factors that are involved, but I really like the sentiment analysis stuff.
Cool. Wendy, do you think that we should follow the F&G index at all? What data do you use?
I actually don't. I don't use it, and the reason why I don't use it, I can simply log on to crypto Twitter and see everybody absolutely losing their ish 24/7. And you know what the thing is? They say women are more emotional than men, but crypto Twitter is comprised of mostly men, and these guys are just getting wild. Like it's like right when we see some red in the chart, it's like emotions flare. They start going off. They start going crazy. So when I see that type of behavior happening, I take a step back, and sometimes I don't even trade. And one of the things I do want to note, it is like if you like a project, if you're super bullish on it, buying the dip is great. But at the same time, you guys, please understand that we will experience some sort of bear market. We will see a lot of coins that did really well, that pumped like crazy, especially new coins. They may not hit those all-time highs that they were at. So when you're interested in buying the dip, just be very, 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 very careful. Have a trading plan, have an investing plan. Consider a bullish scenario and a bearish scenario for each individual position, because just because something pumped like crazy, it could have been a black swan event where it just happened and it could not happen again. And if you go back and you look at the charts, if you look at CoinMarketCap back in 2017, like for example, Icon ICX, I have a moon bag of that. I don't think that it broke its all-time high of 2017. So you can buy the dip on that all you want when something is going down, but understand, just because you want a particular asset to go up in price doesn't mean it will. The market doesn't care about you. I care about you. I love you, and I want the best for you. So that's why I'm saying this.
Now, let me ask you a quick follow-up on that. Do you think that it's bad for crypto to have something like this with something that just amplifies euphoria or paranoia?
I think what needs to happen is we all need to take responsibility for our own actions. The reason why we have legal bodies, legalized cartels like the SEC is because they want to protect us. And when people are acting irrational, when they are complaining about things, when things don't go their way and the SEC sees that, or you make a complaint or different things like that, that just forces the legalized cartels to push back harder. So part of being in crypto, and I think a lot of people need to go back and read the Bitcoin white paper and understand what freedom means, what decentralization means, what true ownership, what true self-custody means. Like, we need to be responsible for our own actions. I've lost a lot of money in crypto. There's a particular project I lost so much money. If I would tell you guys how much it is, you'd be like, oh my God, like, how? And it hurts to lose money, but at the same time, I'm an adult and I'm going to take responsibility for my actions. If I trade with too much leverage, if I get liquidated, if I buy something and it rugs, who am I blaming? I'm not going to blame Hashoshi. I'm not going to blame Casper. I'm not going to blame Jebb. I'm not going to blame you. I'm not going to blame anybody else but myself. I bought it. And at the end of the day, crypto is not easy to invest in. You literally have to go to a platform like FTX US, purchase, link your credit card, do KYC, move those funds over to MetaMask or Phantom or wherever it is. And it takes a long time to do it. And I believe that Hashoshi, I hope I said that correctly, and like, because I stutter a little bit, but tech is hard. Tech is not easy for people to do. So the fact that you're able to do all these things that take a lot of time and press that green button to buy, that means that you understand how this works. So stop making excuses for your actions, man or woman up, and practice risk management.
Yeah, lots of responsibility in doing this, big time.
Yeah, whenever somebody invests in anything, I mean, I always tell people this: if you don't have a plan going into it, you're absolutely going to lose money. Like, when you're buying the dip is relative. You have to know why you want to buy that dip. And if you don't have a plan as when you're going to enter, when you're going to exit, where you can find the invalidation point where you know you need to get out, you're 100% going to lose money. And I really like what you said, Wendy, because, it's so true. Like, freedom is all about being free to do stupid things, right? I mean, we don't want more regulations. I want to be free to do the stupidest thing in the world when it comes to investing in crypto. Because honestly, if you know what you're doing and you actually take the time and put in the work and don't just gamble, you can do very, very well, you know?
I agree 100%. Just
Jayson,
practice risk management, have bullish and bearish scenario. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, absolutely. Jayson, that was a great point. Hashoshi, a question for you. Why is a coin like Luna bucking the FGX index right now? What does this actually mean for like the rest of the altcoins?
I mean, I think Luna is an interesting beast because you have this still somewhat nascent but blossoming and sort of exploding ecosystem in Cosmos, which I think I'm a personal fan of the whole interoperability space and the technology that's being built there. I think Cosmos is just getting started in general and the projects that are there with inter-blockchain communication and all of this stuff. So I think if you look at Luna as sort of a lever in the issuance of UST, a stable coin that's going to service all of these Cosmos projects in the future, I think that's a big part of it because stable coins are really important during kind of negative market movement and positive market movement. So there's demand there still. But beyond that too, I think, there are just certain projects that are in a period of growth, even when the rest of the market is kind of pulling back and not doing well. And that's where I think Terra Luna and some of the other cryptocurrencies that you see kicking this, like in the metaverse space, for example, are kind of at.
You can't cool the metaverse stuff down right now. That's a great point there, Hashoshi. It is, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So very exciting to see where all that will go. Let's see. I got one more question. It's going to come to you, Jebb. But before I do that, I do need to apologize to you. I just saw a text message from my wife, and she said that I am her nerd. So apparently, in some space,
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Busted.
I started something at home. Busted.
Yeah.
I also got to interrupt really quickly, and this is a big shout out to all the ladies. Shout out to all of the moms out there, and one of the reasons why is you guys hold it down. You guys absolutely hold it down, and also to Justin, J Chains, your wife, and if you're watching this, J Chain's wife, you looked absolutely amazing. Like you were glowing, and motherhood looks absolutely beautiful on you. Like I'm just so happy for you guys. That's all.
Thank you, Wendy. That was very, very kind. She is beautiful. My daughter's beautiful. It's like the coolest experience I've ever had in my entire life. All right, Jebb.
It's so cool.
If you were to make your own fear and greed index, what would you call it, and would you even use it?
Whew. That's
Oh,
a
boy.
golly dang. That's a question. We're gonna be here a minute. What would I call it, and what would it be? Well, first and foremost, it'd have a lot to do with YouTube comments, but you'd have to weed out like the 90% where it's saying like, hating on people. But no, for real, it'd weigh very, very heavily on. It would have to weigh very, very heavily on. It'd have to be extremely subjective. See, that's the issue with the fear and greed index. That's what you have to do with the fear and greed index. Is you have to take something that's very, very, that's very, very subjective and turn it into something that's very objective, like a metric. And that's I don't even get the joke, BJ. I don't even know what you're getting at there.
Yeet and YOLO, baby.
Yeet and YOLO, yeet and YOLO.
I think BJ's twerking back there. I think he's twerking, guys.
He probably is.
Somebody come get your mans.
Somebody come get your technical director. But no, I think that the issue, the trouble with the fear and greed index is you're trying to turn something very subjective into something very objective, right? And I think you're actually kind of missing the point with the fear and greed index. Now, I think it's a good thing that you can look at something like market sentiment through a number like fear and greed index because it gives you something that you can compare. It gives you something numerical. Like, for example, on our show this morning, we looked at the fear and greed index. We said, okay, it's down at 16. Last time it was down at 16 was back during May and a couple months, May, June, July, back when we were down at 30K. When we got down to 16, like 11, 12 for the first time, that meant the bottom wasn't in, but it was close. So we were able to derive on our stream this morning, hey, I don't know if the bottom's in yet, but I think the bottom's close, and the fear and greed index is giving me that idea. But when you put a number on something like that, when you turn it into something that's very objective like that, when you objectify it, it's very difficult to convey everything that is trying to tell you. So in market sentiment, you have to understand it's a very subjective nature. So I think it's actually kind of detrimental to the investor to have one number because it can lead the investor to thinking that that one number is all that matters. As Wendy said, you can go on Twitter and watch all the conversations and watch all the rage wars, and you're going to get an idea of the sentiment. You know what the sentiment isn't going to tell you? It's not going to tell you that the ADA gang is one of the strongest communities in crypto. It's not going to tell you that the people out there, the chain link Marines, the link Marines, those guys are crazy. They're going to buy up some link whenever it dips. You're not going to find that out in a number, but you are going to figure it out in YouTube comments, and you are going to figure it out over on Twitter. So one of the biggest things that you will ever learn in cryptocurrency is that if you look at the market like one massive person that has different thoughts and machinations, and you look at it like a composite man, as my co-host Tim says, then you're going to get a much better idea of how the market is thinking if you personify it like one individual. And the only way that you're going to understand what another individual thinks by having a conversation with them. You can't put a number on, oh, my wife is level 9 mad right now, right? You you got to kind of have that conversation. So think about the market as one massive entity, and then go have a conversation with it and figure out what it thinks.
Oh, hey, that was a great answer, but what you didn't do was answer the question. So, BJ, if you could take away 3 points, that'd be great.
Oh, come on. No. Okay, what was the question? What would I name it? I'd name it the, oh gosh, you're trying to put me on the spot here. My brain's working at half speed. I'd name it the Yeet and YOLO. I'll go with the Yeet and YOLO. Crypto collective consciousness. That's all right. That's okay.
I know I didn't spell that right.
No points will be
deducted. That's not even close.
No.
That's not even
Does
close.
Does that say couscous?
That says couscous, yeah.
Well, that said couscous. Great. Thanks, BJ, for the note there. With that being said, that wraps it up for the day. I got no more questions for you. So, Wendy, that means you took it. You can leave us with a little bit of a parting word for us. You and your grapefruit, that is.
I can. Thank you guys so much. I'm actually so happy to be back. And I do like to shout moms out because women do play a very, very important role in life. And so do fathers. So big shout out to all the men, all the dads out there that are holding it down, supporting the families. Also to you guys, watch for the EMA 200 on the daily chart. That is at about $50,000. We do need to flip that and then get back above for $53,000. But shout out to all the amazing parents out there and all those people that act as parents, even though they're not biological parents. Okay, bye.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning in to today's episode of Around the Blockchain. We are back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure that you tune in. Until then, make sure you have yourself a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.